Good morning, everyone. It's Jennifer McCreath. October 26, 2025. I just got out of the shower and I haven't even... Still got to shave a little bit, you know. It sucks being trans. You spend all this money on laser hair removal, but certain parts, you still got to fucking shave it every day. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about this article. Ooh, it's pretty bright. I'll read. Because as soon as I turned my phone on and read this, I had to turn the camera on and react. Provincial NDP leader Dinn says it's mystifying that the party doesn't garner more support in a province that is highly unionized as ours. Hello? McFly? Is anybody home? Think, McFly, think. NDP, what supposedly separates you from the Conservatives and the Liberals is that you look out for the little guy. It's the higher end of the middle class and the upper class and the elites that the Liberals and Conservatives are usually fighting over. I get it. The Liberals are tax and spend, big government, where the Conservatives are generally more laissez-faire. The NDP says we're here to support the lower end of the middle class, the lower class, the working poor, the unemployed, the oppressed minorities, etc., right? Supposedly. The federal NDP is talking about pharmacare. Guess what? Most unionized workers have pharma plans through their employment, don't they? Now, I haven't met every worker in Newfoundland and Labrador, but I would hazard a guess that if you did a mapping, you look at the salary structure of the unionized workers in this province and map it up against the non-unionized workers, you're going to see that the people who are struggling, the people who are earning minimum wage, the people who are in part-time or temporary employment situations or contracts or the gig economy, guess what? They are not unionized. I sit here employed in a unionized government job. It's at the lower end of the pay scale. We all know my story. I came to Newfoundland and got a great job up here. I came out as trans and kind of ended up back down here. And every time I try to move up, I hit my head on the low ceiling. I think the unions are running the NDP. And I think that's a mistake. I think the NDP, you need to expand your audience, your market. I have many friends that work literally minimum wage, retail, fast food, call centers. A lot of these jobs are not unionized. They're barely making enough money to survive, let alone flourish and do well. If you want the vote from the left, you got to look at all those people who are non-unionized, especially those that aren't even making a living wage. Unions don't solve everybody's problems. And to be honest, sometimes unions don't even help their own members. I see a big chunk of my paycheck going to a union, and it seems every time I've got a problem and I reach out to the union to talk about it, I don't leave with a solution. You're going to go obsolete, NDP. 2011, you did okay. You took advantage of the Jack Layton wave, and the federal wave pushed its way into the province, and you got yourself 5 seats. Before that, though, what was the NDP in Newfoundland? Party of one for the most part. Oh, let's see, who got elected for the NDP this time? Lorraine Michael. How about this time, 4 years later? It's Lorraine Michael. Hi, Lorraine. I think you're awesome. I saw you on TV. I see there's a documentary out there. that I'm going to look forward to see. But what happened in 2013, 14, 15? Between 11 and 15, 2 of those 5 left. The NDP had an internal squabble. The left became 2. We had the center left and we had the far left. And they were tugging over which direction the party should go. Same federally, Jack Layton leaves. Who do we want to replace Jack Layton? Thomas Mulcair or one of these other people? Thomas Mulcair was not an NDPer. He was a Liberal wearing orange. And people saw that in 2015. Do you want to vote for the real red or the pretend red? You're going to pick the real red. That's why the Liberals started out deep in 3rd place, but it was Justin Trudeau that won the election, not Thomas Mulcair. So Dale Kirby and Chris Mitchell-Moore, and I believe George Murphy, all said, we want to change the direction of this party, and they asked Lorraine to step down. Lorraine and Jerry Rogers was in it too somehow. They all agreed. I don't know if it was bullying, because very quickly after the 4 of them asked Lorraine to quit, 2 of them changed their mind and said, no, we actually want you to stay. The party imploded, and Dale Kirby and Chris Mitchell-Moore quit the party and sat as independents, eventually joined the Liberals, and got re-elected as Liberals. Had their full 2 terms, collected this beautiful pension when they get to be, I don't know, 65, and the NDP hasn't really recovered since. Every election since then, it's been 2 MHAs, I believe. Jordan Brown, a bit of a wild card out in Labrador. Did people vote for him because he was NDP, or did people vote for him because he was Jordan Brown and he was a really good MHA? Well, when he said, I've had enough of this, and decided to go into municipal politics, the NDP replacement candidate bombed in a bad way. My generation, when you bombed, it means you did poor. I guess the bomb is now something positive. I'm not really trendy. Now it's been Jim Dinn, the reluctant leader. Nobody else wants to lead this party. Jim Dinn, can you be our leader? Okay, great, yes. You're a nice guy, Jim. You're a teacher. I don't think you're really a politician. And that might be a compliment, because a lot of politicians are dirty, selfish, fucking assholes. I'm going to say that. I digress. Alison Coffin was a good leader. I'm not sure where she fits on the left to the right to the far left to the... I think she's more left center, center left. She's a MUN prof, an economist. Barely lost her seat in what turned out to be a 4-year court battle, and the agreement was made out of court to throw the election results out. St. John's East Kitty Vitty and St. John's Centre has been NDP for a long time. You could have perhaps run anyone in St. John's East Kitty Vitty and gotten that NDP vote, especially against that crazy character they ran. What was his name? Whalen? You'd pick Sheila? Okay, fine, great. Sheila's run in all these different ridings. 4 years ago, Sheila ran in Mount Sion, and I think it was me who went on Twitter and said, why the hell are you running out here? You don't even live anywhere near here. 2 weeks later, I put my name on the ballot for the NDP in a riding even further away from my home. So I can't really complain or criticize that now, can I? But you're a party of 2. And if and when Jim Dinn decides to retire, you might be back to a party of 1. Where's the future of this party? Why is it always... I'm not going to necessarily be ageist, but most of the recent NDP strongholds in those 2 ridings, I think of Jerry Rogers, you got to be 60 plus to be an NDP candidate that can actually win, and you got to be running in St. John's Centre and St. John's East Kitty Vitty. The future of your party You need to expand and grow. Your message didn't resonate? I talked to a lot of your candidates. I'm glad you got 40 candidates in the most recent election, because the previous election, I don't even think there were 25. And some of them were just jabronis like me who really had no business running for you. You gotta think big picture, NDP. It's not just about winning and retaining your 2 seats. You've got to go after the rest of the province. Yes, keep some of that union concept, but you got to think about all the other people who are most likely to vote for you. What about them? You didn't have anything to offer them, and that's why they didn't vote for you. You barely got 5% of the vote in some of these rural ridings. You're right. You should get more support. Based on your theories. But it's the practice. It's not just the foundation. You can have a great foundation, great ideas, and then you build the house, and then the people that come in and live the house, if they're all part of unions making 6 figures, people are going to see that and say, I don't think these people really understand who they are or what they're saying. They're not even representing their own foundations, rules, concepts. You would think someone like myself would be a prime NDP supporter. I'm part of an oppressed minority, trans. We face discrimination everywhere we look, still to this day. Not just from the world around us, but from within our own LGBTQ community. My biggest disappointment when I decided to do my trans stuff here in Newfoundland rather than go to Toronto or maybe go home. I'm thinking about going home, by the way, as I tend to do almost every year. I look at myself, I sit down and look at the year I've had and say, I haven't grown, I haven't evolved. And part of that is politics. Hoping to develop better rapport with our new PC government than I had with our outgoing former Liberal government for the past 10 years, who only seems to give a shit about themselves. The only trans people that did well in the past 10 years under the Liberal government were the Liberal trans people. Hi, Gemma. Hi, Ophelia. Money, jobs, grants, you name it. Everyone else, Jennifer, no. Win job competitions, no, we're not hiring you. We're going to hire someone else. We'll hire the runner-up because maybe they're liberal. I don't know. Do I want to jump back into the NDP? No, not really. But do I want a party with those foundational core values? Yes. A lot of people want that. And that's why every time I scroll through Twitter or Facebook or God knows what else, there's too many social media to follow, but everyone says, I'm going to start my own party. We're going to start a party. There's probably 7 or 8 groups. I've even said I'm going to start my own party, but I say that all the time, don't I? But I did join a small party 10 years ago, federally. Strength in Democracy. Go to Wikipedia. Learn about Strength in Democracy. I thought they had some great ideas. Unfortunately, they were pigeonholed as a rural Quebec party. And perhaps a rural Quebec party running a trans mainlander in rural Newfoundland wasn't necessarily going to sell. But we gave it a try. Have I ranted enough, folks? What do you think? I don't want to hear from the unionized NDP supporters. I want to hear from others who also feel upset that the NDP doesn't necessarily represent them when you think they perhaps should. Let's talk to Mr. Jim Dinn. You shouldn't be mystified, Mr. Jim Dinn. You need to take this loss, and yes, it was a loss. Don't celebrate winning 2 seats out of 40. That is failure, my friend. You're supposed to be one of the three parties, which means you're supposed to be competitive for government. Keep the unions, but don't make everything about unions. It's the non-unionized workers making minimum wage who can barely afford to pay their rent. Those are the people you need to find solutions for. You need to reach out to them. You need to talk to them and say, what can we do? How can we change our party so that we can help you, so that you'll believe in us? Am I wrong? Am I out to lunch here? I don't think so. I know everyone else thinks I'm out to lunch. Come on, folks. Let's talk about this. We got 4 years till the next election. I want to see 3 legitimate, different, credible options on the ballot, not just 2.
Thanks for watching, everyone.